Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is July the 2nd. This show will be for it'll be for tomorrow's games, right? We got a bunch of games on the board for tomorrow. So we might as well get into it early, man. Might as well get into it early. These lines have been out for a couple days now anyway. So with no further ado, let's just do just that. And do me a favor as you join. If you could hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated as always. As far as yesterday, no official recap for me. I only had bet the Minnesota Lynx -4.5, but I didn't send it out. So no official replay. I did lose a little bit of money yesterday on them, losing outright to the Indiana Fever. Shout out to the Indiana Fever for going in there and taking care of business yesterday. Took my money, took a lot of people's money yesterday. No matter what number you got with the Lynx, it didn't matter. They lost the game outright. So yeah, that was the only thing that I played unofficially, but it was a loser. Let's jump into Jackson for tomorrow. But before we do, my fault. I'm a little ahead of myself. Let's go through the comments real quick. Prolific says, man, we got to get a little Chris digits so we can know when Dad's going live. Yeah, we just got done playing a little FIFA, man. And he's now in bed. So yeah, we got him sleep so that we can get a show done. Adina says, what's up, Chris and Chad? Went 0-2 in the W last night. Lost Aaliyah Boston under her 3.5 assists. Nafisha Collier over 22.5 points. Never seen the Commissioner's Cup being played like that. Minnesota was never locked in. I mean, I thought about that for a long time, man. And it was difficult. It's difficult to kind of pinpoint what happened. But I think, in my opinion anyway, this was more so on the Fever just being super locked in. The Fever were like locked in from the beginning of the game. Even though they got out to, you think it was a 13-point deficit in the first quarter, they were so attached to Minnesota defensively, man. I've never seen anybody beat Minnesota like that. Even last year, going back to the WNBA finals when they lost to the Liberty, I never seen them get manhandled like that ever in life, Algina. So I'm right there with you. I think a lot of the world was too. What's up, Malcolm? Appreciate you for tapping in. What up, Peasy? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. My guy Malik says, good to see you, my guy. What's up? What up, Malik? Cheetah says, took the Fever to win the Commissioner's Cup without Caitlin Clark by double digits. And they do. They absolutely did. Anthony says they wanted it more. Being aggressive. Natasha Howard was balling. She definitely deserved that MVP. They were being physical with Fee. Really just, it feels like Stephanie White kind of really got her team to play the Connecticut style defense, right? Ari McDonald is absolutely underrated. Her being in the point guard position outside of Caitlin Clark, bring the turnover numbers down. She's very efficient with the basketball. You can tell she's just a vet, and she'd already had a little bit of experience with the team when they played before they cut her earlier this season when Caitlin Clark was out for an extended period of time. So, like I said, man, shout out to the Fever. They got the job done yesterday. Mel says cash big. Fever was the last line of the parlay, and almost got shocked out from the news. Yeah, that was terrible. I'm glad you cashed it though. What up, Big Mar? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says love the under on Mitchell points. So the player props that I talked about yesterday all cashed, right? Of course they all did. I think it was Kelsey Mitchell under her points, Nafisha Collier under her 9.5 rebounds, and Courtney Williams under her rebounds as well. I think she finished with 4. Her number was 4.5. I didn't bet any of them though, but hopefully you guys made some money off of those. I did not. Yeah, none for Bonner. Bonner gets no money for Bonner. She wanted to be on another team, so yeah, nothing for her at all. Real quick, let's just go look at Courtney Williams' rebounds real quick. I want to see if I was right about this, and then we'll get started. Let's see. Yep, she finished before. So yeah, all 3 player props cashed last night. All 3 player props that I had on the show cashed last night. Hopefully we can find some winners to do that again, man. Let's jump into it for tomorrow. First game up we got is first. Before we go to the first game up, we'll talk about what Jackson likes. So simple prompt as always. I asked Jackson whether if I was taking an over under for player props tomorrow, I want an over and an under. What should I play? Jackson likes Skylar Diggins over her points prop at 17.5. Line bond is 108 on Bet Rivers. It says, why is a strong pick? Because of recent form, she's been on fire, hitting the over in 5 of her last 5 games, 80% of her last 10. Averaging 21.6 points per game over her last 5. Opponent matchup, the Atlanta Dream ranked 8th in defense versus guards, which is middle tier ranking, suggesting Diggins can exploit this matchup. Road performance as a visitor, she's hit the over in 85.7% of her games this season, averaging 20.5 points consistency. Her season long over hit rate of 76.47 makes this a favorable line. Conclusion, with her recent scoring surge in Atlanta's average defense against guards, this is a strong over bet. So take Skylar Diggins over her 17.5 points Jackson likes. And Sammy Wickham under her 10.5 points against the Dallas Wings. This is going to be interesting. It says recent form, Wickham has struggled to consistently hit the line, going under in 60% of her last 20 games with an average of 9.1 points per game. Opponent matchup, Dallas ranks 3rd in defense against guards, indicating a tough matchup for Sammy Wickham. Head-to-head against Dallas, she's gone under in 100% of her last 5 matchups, averaging just 8 points per game. In season trend, her season-long under hit rate of 56.25 and her average points per game this season is 10.06, slightly below the number of 10.5. Conclusion, with Dallas' strong defense, which I don't know about Dallas having a strong defense, and Wickham struggles against them, the under is a solid play. So Skylar Diggins-Smith over her 17.5 points and Sammy Wickham under her 10.5 points is what Jackson likes for tomorrow. As always, check Jackson out. If you're interested, the lines, the referral code, and all that good stuff is in the description of the video, or just use code ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's when you sign up and get 50% off whatever tier it is that you select from. Again, you can use this for soccer. You can use this for MLB, of course, WNBA, NBA, NFL, college football, whatever it is that you can think of. Jackson pretty much has it locked and loaded in the system. So let's jump into the games for tomorrow. A couple of these lines I may have to update. First one we have on the board is I didn't think this was the first game. I don't think it is. So let me just double check real quick. I may have this wrong. Absolutely got it wrong. So let's go backwards. We'll go here, right? We'll go Los Angeles and New York. This line opened with LA laying 12.5 points. Total was at 169. It went all the way up to 170.5. It's come back down now to 169.5. And the spread has come down. This is not 12.5 anymore. It is 10.5. So let's change this. I haven't really had a chance to update these, but let's change this and let's get into the matchup. So I put the some key numbers for you guys to see as I'm kind of talking throughout throughout the show, kind of giving you guys my breakdown of the game. So let's start with this injury report. So for the visiting Los Angeles Sparks, they get Ray Burrell back. She's off the injury report. They also cut Ari McDonald. She's no longer on the team, which is very, very interesting to me that they cut her, but I completely get it. That's what the WNBA does. On the New York side of things, no Jacko Jones. She did go, she's been doing a little bit more on the court work, but still not ready to return quite yet. But they do get Phoebus back. Phoebus will be back in this game, coming back from Euro basketball, which concluded, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. That's going to be a big, big boost for the New York Liberty, right? We start to look at these two teams. The Sparks have been absolutely trash. Both of these teams have been absolutely trash. If you look at it from an ATS perspective, the Sparks are just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. Liberty just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. For context, over the last 2 weeks, we have, like I said, the worst 2 WNBA teams as far as against the spread goes. A combined 1-10 against the spread of both of these teams. The Sparks have lost 5 of their last 6 games. They failed to cover 5 of their last 6 games as well. The biggest reason why they can't get stops. This Sparks team is terrible defensively. They've allowed 12 of their 17 opponents on the full season to go up and over their total. That's a 71% hit rate to the opponent team total over. Both last 5 games and full season, 11th in defensive rating. It's only 13 teams in the W. And their offense has also started to fall off a cliff over the last 5 games. They're the second worst offensive rated team. and they're averaging just 77.8 points per game, which is 12th out of 13 teams as well. So it's difficult to want to do anything with the Sparks, but do you really want to lay double digits with the Liberty and FIBA's first game back, right? One thing I did find for the Sparks is that well, actually, I didn't even find that for the Sparks. There's a couple of things you like for the Sparks, but let's talk about the Liberty. 0-7 ATS in their last 7 games. First game back home after the 4-game road trip. 3 of them was on the East Coast. They came back and lost to Atlanta as well. We got that right on Sunday. Do I want to lay double digits with the New York Liberty? I can't. I don't think I do. Not with the way that the Sparks. Not with the way that the Liberty has been playing defense. I think even getting Phoebus back, I think it's going to help a lot, right? Especially against whoever she ends up guarding. I think that'll slow the team down for sure. But I don't want to lay 10 points with the Liberty right now either. I think those guards coming back for the Sparks, I'm expecting it to take a while for them to kind of get integrated back into it. The Liberty, I expect to be super locked in this game, and I think that they can win. But I think I'll still be taking the points with the Sparks. Here's one of the reasons why I didn't take the points with the Sparks, though. The Sparks turned the ball over at the second highest rate in the WNBA. Last 5 games, the highest rate in the WNBA. They're also second. They also allow the second most points off turnovers, which they turn the ball over a lot. They also are bottom 4 in the league in fast break points, and the Liberty score more fast break points in transition than any other team in the WNBA. So I think the Liberty's offense is, will get rolling. If you've been watching the Liberty play recently, they have been playing against some really good opponents. I wouldn't say really good opponents, but they've been playing against some pretty good teams as of late. And this Sparks team is a big step down in class, in my opinion. Just can't put it together defensively, man. This was a team that was at home on Sunday against the Chicago Sky on a very important day when they knew that was an ESPN game. Everybody knew that Candace Parker was getting her jersey retired. They gave up 30 points in the 4th quarter to the Chicago Sky. Like I can't quite get there, man. So one thing that the Sparks do well, if you like the Sparks, what you do like is that they do get their fair share of offensive rebounds. They're 4th in the league, which could be problematic for this Liberty team. They give up the second most offensive rebounds, and Sparks also get a fair share of the Liberty also give up a fair share of second chance points as well, because they give up so many offensive rebounds. They rank second to last and second to last both last 5 games and on the full season, the New York Liberty, as far as giving up second chance points. So Sparks could be able to score in that way, off second chance points. But with the home crowd back, first game back home, having some time to kind of see what they did wrong, I think the Sparks should be able to score the basketball in this spot. And that's just how I think about this game. Their team total was at 90.5, I think is what it was. Let me just double check it real quick. 89.5 on Bet365 at minus 125, 90.5 everywhere else. Sparks team total is 78.5 or 79.5, depending on how juiced you want to play. I think that's where I would go. I think I would go over. And that's what I had written down yesterday. I didn't play it because it kind of feels like whatever is supposed to happen in the W right now is not. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of variance. So it doesn't really give me a lot of confidence. We did hit on the Sparks in the Sky over last game, but it took until I think 2 minutes left in the game. And it felt like it shouldn't have been that easy. That shouldn't have been that difficult of a play. Sparks, as far as the total goes, if you like the over, you like that the Sparks are 11-6 to the over, which is 65% on the season. They're 2-0 to the over as a double-digit dog this season. The Liberty have played 6 of their last 7 games up and over the total as well. Sparks are 4th in pace last 5 games, 3rd in pace on the full season. Liberty also number 1 in pace over the last 5 games and on the full season as well. Last 5 games for the LA Sparks have averaged 183 points. Last 5 games for the Liberty have averaged 188 points. So if you like the over, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't bet it, but that's the only way that I would look in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. But I think I would probably take the points with the Sparks before I'm laying with the Liberty, even with Phoebus being back. It'd be Sparks plus the points and then the over. So I guess that equals a Sparks team total up and over 78.5 as well. that's the way I kind of think about this game. Let's see real quick what you guys are thinking here. Yeah, Odyssey Sims is gone, which is crazy in my opinion. What's up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB, what's going on, my brother? He says good morning. He says good. What's good, Chris in chat? He says I posted a system play on this game on my X 8-1 trend to the over. So couple people liking the over. I like it as well, GLB. I'm kind of like my thought process yesterday when I capped the total was like, I think this is going to go to 170 and a half, 171. And it did. And now it's come all the way back down. I don't know what's pushing the money down. But again, like the way the W works is if you like the play, you just got to take what you like, man. Because on Sunday, we bet that total up and over 168 and a half. And it ended up coming all the way down to 167. And that was the Sparks versus the Sky. And the game ended up at 174, 175. So you can kind of go against the line movement, I think, in the WNBA a little bit. This total was 169 and a half everywhere. I see 2 170 and a half, but it's come back all the way back down to 169 and a half. So we'll see. Mark says he got Sparks plus 12 and a half. That number is gone. Good job getting the best of the number, Mark. I think you are on the right side, but I didn't play the game. You can still get a plus 11 right now on DraftKings, and FanDuel got a plus 11. Everywhere else looks like they got it down to 10 and a half. Let him ride says I can't touch a side. Give me the over. Like it. Malik says nah, don't trust the Sparks at all. Couldn't even stop Angel Reese. Stewick should feast, and that's a fact. I'm actually expecting Sabrina to have a good game, man. We have not seen Sabrina have a good game in quite a while. And real quick, just to go over, let's put some numbers to this real quick. Sabrina has looked really, really bad in my opinion. So this is, let me just minimize myself a little bit. This is Outlier. Yeah. So all right. So let's think about this for a second, right? Let's think about Sabrina, right? So let's think about Sabrina points real quick, or just Sabrina in general, right? She was suffering from the neck injury. She came back against the Valkyries. She looked terrible. She missed the game against the Storm 2 Sundays ago. And then against the Mercury, didn't really do much at all. They got blown out. And then against the Dream, she didn't really do much at all either, right? So here is Sabrina's points. You can see that she's under in 4 straight games. And then there's another game in here that she missed. And then, going back to June 17th, she hasn't really done much of anything at all, right? Matter of fact, if we just zoom into this, we look at her last 5 games, we can see that she's shooting an abysmal 32% from the field and 29% from the 3-point line. You can see that she is 3 for 7, 1 for 2, 1 for 7, and 1 for 10 in her last few games, right? Now, we've compared this 32% that she's shooting over the last 5 games, which this does have this game factored in as well, right? So probably brings the numbers up a little bit. We look at the full season, Sabrina's shooting 40% from the field and 32% from the 3-point line. So this should be a game where, her points prop was at 17 and a half last game. I vividly remember looking at it. The books adjusted it a little bit higher. You can see it at 18 and a half here. And that's the way I would play it. I think it's a prime spot, for her to get back on track. You can see that I gave you guys the numbers on the Sparks defense is terrible. 11th in points allowed against the guard position. They are 8th. But their defense actually got better with Odyssey Sims being on the floor as well. And I think with Odyssey Sims being back, their defense is going to be in trouble. With her being, cut, I think their defense is going to be in trouble. So maybe even a look towards Sabrina up and over her points prop in this game, I think could be a pretty good look as well. But that's a fact. They could not stop Angel. Ghost Rider says, I got no faith in the Sparks after I watched the Sky beat them at home without Cardosa on the same day Candace Parker got a jersey retired, and I kind of agree with that. I did see that Julie's gonna be back as well. That should help. Not sure what kind of form she'll be in, but that should help. Mel says all the value is on the Sparks. Going to be tough for the Liberty to stay up over 10 the whole game, and with the injuries on New York and players' first game back in the Sparks should be able to score in the paint a lot. Shall see. Mark says Liv's first game home, beat up. Ron likes over. I like it as well. Mark says we'll see CLV, no guarantee these days. A fact. Malik says, so you don't trust New York defense. That's why you don't expect them to cover the spread. I don't know, Malik, specifically what how well the Liberty defense is going to look with Phoebus in and Jacko Jones out. I think that's what matter of fact, let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Jacko Jones is the player that really solidifies the paint, right? You saw last game against the Atlanta Dream, they couldn't stop anybody from getting whatever they wanted. Bree Jones and Brittany Griner both went up and over their points prop in that game. So if I'm looking at this right, with Phoebus on the floor and Jacko Jones off the floor, the Liberty are plus 23. They got an 88.6 defensive rating, a 112 offensive rating. This is with Jacko Jones off the floor. With both of them on the floor, it gets scary, man, because they got a 77-point defensive rating and a plus 40 in point differential. So I'm not sure what Phoebus' impact going to be on the offensive end. We've seen her not really need to score the ball much, but I think the way the Liberty play their offense is highly predicated on being able to get stops because they like to get out and run, and you start to see those threes fall. It's a big part of it for me. So if Phoebus comes back and she's a disruptor, I think the Sparks no, they ain't gonna play no defense. I think they can. I think the Liberty will be able to score the basketball for sure. That's one thing that I do think is gonna happen. What up, Doms? Ron says she's not 100%. Something's up. What up, Bitsy? Lisa says, that makes sense. Didn't realize Jones was out, especially with the stats. Yeah, she is out. She's not gonna be back for a while. Dirty Ray says it's still hard to take the Sparks. Take advantage. It's still hard to take the Sparks. To take advantage of anything the defense gives them, and that's a fact. Here's the other thing I want to say, right? And I probably should have started with this because I did look into this as well. I just didn't write it down. The Liberty last few games, right, have been against really some pretty good teams, right? Teams that are probably going to make the playoffs, right? They just played against the Dream, they lost. Last game of a 4-game road trip. They played the Mercury, who looked like the best team in basketball. You know, like last 7-ish games. Mercury looked like the best team in basketball. So they just lost to two of the better teams in the WNBA. Before that, they lost to the Valkyries. The Valkyries just keep beating everybody. The Valkyries have been at home for 4 or 5 straight games in a row as well. So they played some really good teams. Even before that, they went to Seattle without Sabrina Ionescu and lost that game as well. And before that, they played against the Mercury again. Before that, they played against the Dream again. Before that, they played against the Fever. So they have not played against a team that's not going to make the playoffs in quite a while. And that last time they played against a lesser than, or a lower opponent, it was the Sky. They beat the Sky 88-65. Now, granted, I think they did have Jacko Jones in that game. I think she got hurt in that Fever game. She hasn't played since. So, they haven't covered a game though without her. So a lot of different, variables to play in this game. I think if I had to play it, it'd be Sparks plus the points, and it would be a look towards the over though. Ron says Sparks 15-7 road dogs. 15-7 ATS is road dogs. They haven't played 22 games yet though, Ron. They not 22 games in the season yet. No way they 22 games into the season, right? Nah. Sparks are 2-4, straight up 3-3 against the spread as a road dog this season. All right, let's move over to Golden State is looking really, really good. Oh, last 22. Got you, Ryan. Okay. So yeah, it'd be Sparks plus the points for me too if I was betting this game. We'll see how the line moves. We'll see who, how everything settles for tomorrow, but be over in Sparks for me too as well, which, like I said, could lead to a Sparks team total over as well. Let's push over to the next game. Oh, and this is what I had screenshotted this, forgot to even share it, but this is what I was talking about as far as like, this is courtesy of Moneyballer. Link in the description if you guys want to check out Moneyballer. But this was the offensive ratings. You can see I was talking about the Sparks offense has struggled recently. You can see that here. Defensively, both of these teams, this is last 5 games. You can see that right here. Defensively, both of these teams have been trashed, 11th and 10th in defensive rating, 3rd and 1st in pace. And you can see as well, neither team has been covering. 12th in cover percentage, 13th in cover percentage. Worst 2 covering teams in the WNBA last 5 games. So wanted to share that with you guys as well. Next up, we got the Aces and the Fever. This line opened at 1.5 in favor of the Las Vegas Aces, laying a 1.5 on the road. Total open 163.5 is down as low as 160 now. 161 is the consensus though. Got some offensive and defensive metrics here for you guys as well. It's a lot to talk about with this game. We'll start with the injury report. So Tiffany Mitchell has been waived by the Aces, as has Elizabeth Keatley. She's also been waived by the Aces because the Aces went out and signed Alyssa Smith. And I think Meg Gustafson has also been upgraded to doubtful. She hasn't played a game yet this season, but is close to returning. But Alyssa Smith is the newest addition to the team. They end up trading the first-round pick for her. And then Caitlin Clark has been ruled out for the Indiana Fever. So lot of things going on with the injury report here. This line immediately started to move as soon as Caitlin Clark was ruled out. And for that reason, I guess I will talk about the game, but we did take this. I sent this out earlier today. Took the Aces -1.5 in this spot. Well, actually, I took the Aces on the money line here in this spot when it was -125. That number, of course, is long gone. But you know, when I put in the write-up was not even a lot of statistical stuff. It was more so just coming off the championship win, right? I think the Fever will be a little bit hungover here after beating the Liberty. After beating the Minnesota Lynx. Indy is they are 2-0 straight up. I'm sorry, 2-0 against the spread as a home dog this season. They covered twice against the Liberty in those spots. So if you like them, take them, especially with the line moving up to 4.5. But the Aces come into this game, off their best win of the season. They beat the Phoenix Mercury outright as 6.5-point dogs on Sunday. Took my money. 2-2 straight up and against the spread this season as road favorites. In general, they've won and covered 3 of their last 4 games. And it's been their defense. The defense has really looked good over the last few games outside of their hiccup on the second leg of a back-to-back when they lost to the Mystics. They've held 3 of their 4 opponents under 82 points. 3 of their 4 opponents under their team total as well. That Commissioner's Cup, right? I want to talk a little bit about the Commissioner Cup letdown because I think that is something that should be talked about a little bit, right? So we've seen the winners of the Commissioner Cup, right? Seattle Storm in 2021 at its inception, Las Vegas Aces in 2022, and then the Liberty in 2023, the Lynx last year. These teams don't typically play as well after the Commissioner's Cup, right? Not that they can't win, afterwards. A couple years ago when the Aces won, they did smoke the Chicago Sky, beat them 93 to 83 in their regular season game. But I remember the Liberty, not the Liberty, I'm sorry. I remember the Mystics last season in a big letdown spot after beating the New York, the Minnesota Lynx last year in a big letdown spot after beating the New York Liberty. They played against the Dallas Wings and got absolutely dismantled in that game. And Dallas wasn't a good team. Remember, Dallas was one of the worst teams in the WNBA, which is why Coach Trammell got fired last year. One of the worst basketball in general, any kind of league. I don't care if you're talking about Little League. One of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen in the history of any sport. So I think we see a little bit of a letdown here for the Fever. I expect them to be, just a little bit hungover, man. I like the Aces. I think they'll continue to push, use not playing in the Commissioner's Cup, all of those things as motivation. And if we look at the Aces on the full season, I don't think that, anything that they've done has been anything to write home about, right? Like you see the numbers right in front of you, right? Offensively and defensively, they're 9th, 8th in net rating, 5th in pace, and only 6-10 against the number this season. None of this is good, right? They're only 8-8 straight up on the full season right now. So I think the Aces got a lot of work to do. I think they have been putting it together a little bit more recently. Like I said, the Mystics caught them sleeping, but impressive win against the Fever a couple of weeks ago where they got the job done. And I expect them to go in and win this game as well. It is a revenge game if you like the Fever, though. They did lose in Vegas about 2 Sundays ago, matter of fact. But the Aces have historically dominated the Fever. They're 9-1 straight up, 6-3-1 against the spread in Indiana. Going all the way back, I think, to like 2018. And playing in Indiana specifically, they've won 7 straight as well. So I took the Aces. I think that they will be motivated. I like the addition of Alyssa Smith. Now they finally have a little bit of size to help. I'm pretty sure that what's my girl name? I can see her face, but I can't think of her name. the power forward that just stands in the corner and sets a whole bunch of screens and never shoots the basketball. I can't think of her name, but pretty sure she will go to the bench now. Leslie Smith will play a lot of that power forward. Yeah, I like the Fever. I like the Aces to get the job done tomorrow. That's the way I end up betting this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Hopefully people jumped in on this early. They wanted it. Ron got in on it early. Minus 135. Yeah. I think we got minus 125 on BetMGM. Ken says Aces going to apply belt here. I hope you're right, Ken. I hope you're right, man. Mel says Aces money line easy. Feel like all the easy plays are the ones that lose, though, man. Mark says Aces money line as soon as Indiana popped the corks. That's a fact. Said they out for blood. Ron says Aces turned it around. Three or four covers. That's a fact. GLB says Aces 4-2 with the rest advantage. I like it. Dom says first half under on Fever Aces. I can see that. I definitely can see a first half under for sure. I think with Ari in the game, her defense is pretty good. Now, this is what you have to ask yourself, right? I think about this stuff all the time, especially when I'm running, especially when I'm like I'm stretching, whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm by myself and I got a free minute, I'm thinking to myself, how will this game be played without Caitlin Clark, right? Do we see a little bit of a let-up spot for the Las Vegas Aces, right? Big win. What just happened, right? Big win against Phoenix. You've already beaten this team, this Fever team as well, right? For the Fever, you got revenge, but you also probably going to be a little hungover, which is why I think the Aces going to be able to get the job done here. I think Asia makes it tough on Aaliyah Boston. Jackie should have a pretty good game. And with the addition of Alyssa Smith, I think the Aces should be able to rebound the basketball a little bit better. Remember, we got to remember the Fever are the best rebounding team in the WNBA. Maybe they don't even rebound the basketball as well tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's what you got to ask yourself. Do the Fever let up? Do the Fever score in this game and the Aces, let up defensively? Or do the Aces come out here, play really good defense, and the Fever just absolutely let up on the defensive end? Because I don't expect the Fever to play defense like they did it in their Commissioner's Cup game against the Lynx last night. Just my thought process. Ron says Minnesota last year went to Dallas day game and got smoked. I remember that. Dom says Aces 6-1 to the first half, under on the road, 3-0 to the under with the rest advantage. I like it. Okay. Big Mar says, what player props you like for this game? I didn't even really look into any, if I'm being honest, Big Mar. I typically don't go, Kia Stokes. That's who I was thinking about. Appreciate y'all. I typically don't go player prop inside or total in the same game. I like to make one bet per game. That's just the way I like it. Unless I like a spread, like a double up or something like that. Let's see. GLB says I was looking at first half over. But I'm laying off of it now. So that's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? GLB, it's like, how do you think the Fever? So the Fever will be a little lackadaisical is what we're thinking. Will it be early? Will it be late? Is it going to be an offensive letdown? Is it going to be a defensive letdown? Like that's how you kind of got to gauge it, in my opinion here. I would want to say that the Aces come in here and play some defense, man. Fever offense has not been that great without Caitlin Clark. And they didn't win the game yesterday because they scored. They won the game yesterday because the Lynx shot like 26% from the three-point line and 34%, I think, or something like that from the field. So never seen the Fever play defense that good. You can see on the season right here, they're 8th in defensive rating. So their defense isn't that good. They played well last night, though. Smeezy says, what's up, Chris? Hope all is well, my guy. Right back at you, bro. Hope all is well with you, too, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. Community says Aces proved themselves versus Phoenix. They definitely did, but we'll see if they can keep it going, right? The Aces had beat the Connecticut Sun by 30 the night before. Then they come out and give up 94 to the Minnesota Lynx, right? And we got to keep in mind, that was a game where, when they beat the Connecticut Sun the night before by 30, they rested all their players the night before, right? Like Asia didn't play the fourth quarter. They come out, still get smoked, absolutely smoked at the crib in Las Vegas. So we'll see, man. I did get money line at minus 125, bet 1.25 units to win a unit, but we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. Let's see the rest of the games. I guess I didn't. I definitely handicapped them. I just forgot to share them with myself. So, all right, let's look at this. All right, so next game up we got is the Storm and the Dream. It's not open. We talked about this one yesterday. We talked about this yesterday. Somebody asked me about it in the stream. And it happened exactly the way I thought it would happen, right? I talked about and I'm gonna just go in and change the line real quick. I talked about, Seattle, getting a point, right? They were getting a point yesterday, and what I thought was gonna happen happened, right? So now they're 1.5 point dogs, and the total is let's see. The total is 160. 160. So 2 points has come off the total, and we've seen a flip of favorites, and all of that is due to, of course, Ryan Howard, right? So I told you guys yesterday that Ryan Howard, left the game. Most people knew this already, but she left the game. Arm was in a sleeve. She did not return to the sideline, but didn't return for the game. She's listed as questionable with an upper body injury, is what they're calling it. And then on the Seattle side, I think everybody will be in, except I did see Lexi Brown is off the injury report. She hasn't really meant that much, in my opinion, to Seattle at all. Noelle Quinn runs a pretty tight rotation and doesn't really give her bench too much playing time, in my opinion. So this is a really tough game, man. It's really, really tough. I got some matchup stats here. You can see offensively, Atlanta's better. Defensively, Atlanta's better. Net rating, they're better as well. Pace, they play really slow. Seattle, one of the faster paced teams in the WNBA recently, but over the full season, they are 7th. And then you can see ATS-wise, Atlanta is also much better than the Seattle Storm, right? So Seattle was in a revenge spot against Golden State on Sunday. Lost the game by 27 points as a 5-point favorite, right? Bookmakers said, you know what? We'll take 5.5 points off the spread. Because remember, the first time they went to Golden State, they were laying 10 and got absolutely smoked in that game. They go back to Golden State, cut the spread in half, get absolutely smoked in that game as well. They are still 4-2 straight up, coming off a loss this season. So they've typically played well and bounced back after a loss this season. You look at the Dream, they're coming off a big win against the New York Liberty. The first time they had beat the Liberty in quite a while. I'm talking maybe 4, 5, maybe 7, 8 games, honestly. They're just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games, but the only cover coming against the New York Liberty in that last game. Atlanta has matched up and played Seattle really well, right? They beat them early this season in Seattle, 94-87. As a 5-point dog in that game. I remember being on Seattle in that spot. Seattle got smoked. They covered versus Seattle in 5 straight games, the Atlanta Dream have, going all the way back to 2023. Seattle offense has historically struggled a lot in Atlanta. They've actually went under their team total in 4 of their last 6 games when they've had to travel to Atlanta. So what do you expect from the Seattle Storm? I actually want to start with, I think it's 2 things to keep in mind here. First, Skylar Diggins comes to mind because she was left off the All-Star team. I don't really like to read too much into the narratives, but I mean, I think with the women, it's a little bit more impactful than the men. When we talk about NBA versus WNBA, she's 7th in scoring. Skylar Diggins is. She's also averaging the 4th most assists in the WNBA. She's 4th in field goal percentage amongst guards who average at least 30 minutes per game at 46.3. So for her being left off the All-Star team, I do think that she will come out a little feisty, a little riled up. If you like to play player props, couldn't talk you off of, potentially her on her player prop. I said this yesterday, and I'll regurgitate it a little bit. I don't know if it's Noelle Quinn. I'm not sure what it quite is, but Seattle laying points on the road. I said this yesterday. I kind of rather trust a homeless man with my last meal than trusting the Seattle Storm laying points on the road. It's just I'm not sure quite what it is, man. I know that the Golden State Valkyries are a really good defensive team, but if you're Seattle, did you not watch the film? Did you not look at any of the game and see how y'all lost last game to make any kind of adjustment at all? It baffles me how bad Seattle can be when they're really bad. And for that reason, I can't really put my money on them. If I go back and look at their last game against the Valkyries, Nneka had 8 points on 3 for 10 shooting. Gabby Williams had 2 points on 1 for 11 shooting. Who on the Valkyries is that good that they're holding Gabby to 2 points on a 1 for 11 shooting, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line? Enzi Magmabor, supposed to be coming into her prime. She had 2 points in that game. 1 for 2 shooting. Outside of Skylar Diggins, who had 18 points, and Eric Willer, who had 13 points, nobody else did anything. I mean, Zia Cook came off the bench. She hit 2 of her 7 threes. The team shot 21% from the 3-point line. If you tell me Ryan Howard is playing, I'm probably taking Atlanta again. I'm just not sure what form she's in. I was trying to find out, whether she went through practice, whether there was a post-game, post-practice interview, something to try to get a heads up on this. But I love the Storm. I just don't like the Storm on the road. I just think that the Storm are very, very volatile. They're just like a team that you bet them and they lose, and you think to yourself, like, bro, why did I do that? Well, what was I thinking? For that reason, I think I'll be looking towards Atlanta or nothing in this game. But again, I think it'll be a hard-fought game for sure. I expect the Storm, if Ryan Howard doesn't play, I expect the Dream try to slow the game down a lot for sure as well, and make Seattle work for everything that they can get. And I said this yesterday as well, is also the Atlanta Dream, got pretty much whatever it is that they wanted in that last game against the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty don't have a lot of bigs that can go down there and defend, Bree Jones and Brittany Griner. The Seattle Storm, I'll give them credit for that. They do have forwards that can go down there and match up, right? When you got Eggsy down there, when you got Nneka down there, when you got Malunga coming off the bench, those are forwards that can go down there and match up. So I guess I would agree with the total coming down from 162 to 160, but it's not a game that I'm super interested in betting. If anything, I'll play it live, but this one doesn't really feel good to me at all. So I'll pass here. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we move on to the next one. Let's see. Ron says Seattle line tells you all you need to know. Atlanta trouble with good teams out west. What up, AOD? Seattle too small. Dream for the win. Q Media says. Mel says the Storm on the Aces, butts in the standing. When the Storm have a reason to play, I like them. I think we see good shooting from Gabby and Skylar. I mean, you would think Gabby is like, she's so hot and cold, man. So hot and cold. I liked her, her points plus rebounds. I think the line was 17.5 or whatever it was. I endorsed it on Sunday. Didn't play it, thank God. 2 points against the Golden State Valkyries on 1 for 11 shooting. Her and Ezzy combined to go 4 for 21. Boy, man. Dirty Ray says I'll sleep better knowing that I'm on the Dream in this spot. I agree. Jason says Diggins has been given a fiery assist game pressures lately. She was getting divorced, big divorce energy. Mark says pass like Atlanta. I agree with that. GLB says got a system on the under here. I like under. Ron says agree. Under is the play. Smeezy says make sure y'all hitting the like for the great content. Appreciate you, Smeezy. If y'all can take a second to like this, greatly appreciate it for sure. Chicago says I believe this is just the greatness of the Valkyries here. So maybe the Storm are good, just not against the Valkyries, right? Storm keep having these really lackadaisical type spots, right? Like they lose to the Fever without Caitlin Clark at home. Like if you told me what Storm team I would get, I would love to know, and then I bet them accordingly. But I mean, I can't do it, man. I think they struggle against teams that play really good defense. And the Atlanta Dream are one of the better defensive teams in the WNBA, as you guys can see here, 5th in defensive rating. A big part of that is Ryan Howard. She can, very versatile on the defensive end. She can match up and cross match in a lot of different ways as well. What else should I say here? Chicago staff remember the Dream, beat them in Seattle. I think they came back from as many as 17 down. I like the Dream at home. Yeah, I don't like the Dream as much without Ryan Howard. But if you told me Ryan Howard was playing, I'd probably already be on the Dream in this spot. What else should I say? And Ghostwriter says apparently missing one of your starters gives you a better chance to win in WNBA. It's crazy how often this has been happening. That's a fact, Ghostwriter. That's a fact. So think about this real quick, then, right? If no Ryan Howard, who do they start at the 3? Do you go bigger and insert Nas Hillman, or do you insert someone like a Shatoria Walker Kimbrough, like, because I think she could play the 3. She's like a smaller 3, but I think she could play the 3. I'm not quite sure, man. I just know I don't want the Storm on the road. Let's see. Jason says, how do you rank these teams currently? Valkyrie, Storm, Aces, Fever. They'll probably be 5 through 8 in the playoffs. Good question, Jason. Let's do this real quick before we go to the next game. All right, so Valkyrie, Storm, Aces, Fever. I would go. Man, that's a tough one. I can't even know. I don't know who I like the most out of these 4 teams. The WNBA is so up and down. So people probably gonna give me a lot of pushback on this. And I think the Valkyries are really good, right? I made some money with them on that homestand. I think it was 5 or 6 games. Here's the thing about the Valkyries, though, that all of these wins that they've gotten recently and being, advanced up to the top 5. I tweeted about this yesterday or 2 days ago, one of the two. All of these games that they've won have been at home. Their home crowd has been sold out every single game. The last time the Valkyries were on the road, you know what happened? They lost to the Wings. So to me, this all feels like, what day are we playing? What time? What did they eat for lunch? Right? Like, who won their last games? I really don't know, Jason. I don't think the Valkyries are as good as their record are. Granted, I think that they've overexceeded expectations a lot. Now, do they play hard? Yes. Is that going to win you some games? Yes, absolutely. But that home crowd, I think, is really, really good. I don't expect the Valkyries to go on this West Coast road trip. East Coast road trip and win too many games. I think they don't come back home until the 14th. So they're about to start 12 games, and they don't play tomorrow, but they're about to start a 12-day road trip. I don't think the Valkyries as good as their record is. The Storm, who knows, man? Who knows with the Storm? What they playing at? They playing at home? Are they playing against the Valkyries? Because I'll take the Valkyries to sweep them if they play in the playoffs. Aces been playing around with their food a little bit. Does feel like they're kind of gelling a little bit. But I think the Fever are better than all of those teams. I do think the Fever are better than all those teams. But then we see the Fever. They absolutely lay eggs as well, man. It's difficult. It's definitely difficult. Yeah, I think the Fever are better than all of those teams. Valkyrie, Storm, Fever, Aces. I don't think the Valkyries that good. That's just my thought process. Jason says, great point about the Valkyries at home. I knew what you were going to say before you even said it. Interesting road trip coming up. We'll find out who they really are. That's a fact. Mel says Valkyries are great when everyone thinks they're going to lose. Now that everyone is hopping on them, get ready for a losing streak. Yeah, let's see. For this streak that they about to go on, right? And I know it's a detour in the regular show, right? But let's just look at this real quick. The Valkyries are 9-7 straight up on the season, 11-5 against the spread, 10-6 to the under, winning by average of 2 points per game, right? About 2.3 points per game. They're averaging 79 points and giving up 77. But in this homestand, 5 5-game homestand, they won every game except the one to the Liberty, and they only lost that game by 3, right? Like I said, last time they went on the road, though, they gave up 80 points. They didn't give up more than 77 points. They gave up 81 to the Liberty, but they gave up 80 to the Wings in Dallas and scored 71. Lost the game by 9 points to the Wings. How? They played against the Mercury a couple weeks ago. Well, about a month ago. Lost that game. They were getting 6. Lost that game by 9. So, they haven't been as well they have not done as well on the road, right? On the road, they're 2-4. At home, they're 7-3. So, like I said, I don't think the Valkyries that good. Mark says he thinks it's Lynx, Liberty, Mercury, Fever, Dream. I actually think Liberty are the best team in the WNBA. I thought the Lynx were, and it's not that the Lynx can't be. I think with what we saw at the beginning of the season, Natasha Cloud being there and not having to do as much, because Phoebus is back. Jaquel Jones working her way back into the lineup as well. Sabrina with the neck injury. I think the Liberty are the best team in basketball. I didn't think that they could repeat. I do think that they can repeat. We'll see what happens with the Lynx though. Mercury could even be 2. Honestly, they could be. Yeah, they definitely could be. Mercury looked good until they land 2 possessions at home against the Aces. We'll talk about them in just a second. Atlanta Golden State would have something to say about that. I bet you they would. That's a fact though. Mercury do look like they got the most upside for sure. All right, let's push through these last 2 games. Next one is the Mercury and the Wings. I didn't update this line. I do need to. It opened. I got the line that it opened at, which was 6.5, and this line is now up to. Jesus, I didn't know it had moved that much. 11.5. I looked earlier; it was 10.5. And the total 165.5 now. And a large part of this, of course, is due to the injury news. So we look at the injury news. Tierra McCowan should be back for the Dallas Wings. She should be back from Euroball. I did see Dejanay was listed as doubtful. Arike Ogunbowale is listed as out. That's why the total was dropped a little bit. Paige Beckers did not play in that last game against the Mystics. She is now back off the injury report. And then last but not least, Maisha Hines-Allen is listed as questionable for this Wings team. So the Wings will be without some depth, especially in that front court. Especially, I know getting Tierra McCowan back helps a lot. You still got your roof down there as well. But if Misha Hines-Allen can't give it a go because of the ankle injury, and then we got to remember they just traded away Nalissa Smith. She's now in Vegas. She'll be playing against the Fever tomorrow. Her old stomping grounds. This could be a lot of depth that's missing for this Dallas Wings front court. You see the numbers here, right? Mercury has been absolutely on fire outside of the Aces game recently. 5th in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, 5th in net rating, 4th in pace. They like to play fast. This Dallas Wings team has been almost like 2 different teams. Recently, their offense has not been as good. Their defense has been a little bit better recently, but on the full season, you can see that they are 10th in defensive rating. Pace has been kind of all over the place. They play games very, very fast, and they play games very, very slow as well. They'll have their hands full tomorrow for sure, right? So Phoenix has won 6 of the 6 games, had won 6 games straight before running into the Aces. They covered 5 of those games as well. 5 of those 6, 5-2 straight up, 4-3 against the spread on the road. This Dallas Wings team is coming off an 8-point win as a 7.5-point home dog against the Washington Mystics without Paige Beckers. I was on the wrong side of that team total because the Mystics, just for whatever reason, couldn't score the basketball in that game. And the Wings, like I said, they are a little bit improved, man. They've covered 3 of their last 4 games. Phoenix has dominated this team in the head-to-head matchup. They've won 4 straight. They've covered all 4, including the most recent matchup in Phoenix, 93-80 earlier this season. And these teams, when they've matched up, they played in 5 straight overs. When these 2 teams are matched up, this is the first of a little mini back-to-back series for these teams as well. I think they play again on Sunday. The game will be back in Phoenix. So I typically like to stay off of games like this when 2 teams are going to play each other back-to-back and bet the opposite thing, thinking that the second time around teams will make adjustments. I think with this line moving 5 points already as well, you kind of got to find a way to want to play the Wings, or, in my opinion, just play the over. I think the game will be played fast. I think even without Arike there, the Dallas Wings offense can be a little bit more efficient. I know that the Mercury's offense can be extremely efficient. I'm not expecting the Dallas Wings defense to look that great as they did against the Washington Mystics in that last game. I do expect the Mercury to be able to bounce back offensively after not being able to score the basketball against the Las Vegas Aces in their last game. You still got, the MVP candidate and Alyssa Thomas out there on the floor. You still got 3-point shooters, surrounding her as well. Sammy Wickham's, the Satu Sablis, who just hit 7 of 10 threes just 2 games ago. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You guys know what they have. Khalid Copper out there as well. So Mercury team total, either up and over or full game up and over. I do think, like I said, this one can get up and over the total, even without Arike Ogunbowale being there. We'll see what happens with Dejanay. I'm not expecting her to play. Really don't want to lay this many points on the road. I know the Mercury can go into, any gym and, upset a team, but I also bet the Mercury to beat the Connecticut Sun by 11.5. Very similar line. and they end up winning the game by 8. So and I do think the Wings are better than the Mercury. So I would try to find a way to play on the Dallas Wings in this spot, no matter how ugly it is. That's the way that I'll be playing. Either Dallas, plus the points, or the over in this game would be my recommendations. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Here, JLB says, give me the Wings team total over 77.5. Teams average 87 points after beating the Mystics. Underdogs average 80 points against the Mercury too. I like it. Mark says he got the Mercury 5.5 days ago. It opened 5, I believe. Okay, I saw the worst of the line there. Okay, I did not see that, but yeah, you definitely got a really good line here. Ron says he laid a 7.5. That line is gone. Paul says you sleep on Golden State, fam. Coaching matters, and the way that they share the ball is special. I understand it all, Paul. Trust me, bro. I've been watching basketball for a long time, and I don't want you to think that I don't like I don't like this team. I'm just telling you that, if you bet them against Dallas the last time they played a road game, what was the coach in that net game? We talking about the Dallas Wings, right? The numbers right here in front of you, right? That's what I'm saying. A lot of the wins have come at home. This is the same Valkyries team that went to, New York and lost by 30 at the beginning of the season as well. Like, WNBA is just so volatile, man. It's so volatile. So I don't want you to think I'm sleeping on them too much, but because I do like them. I like them a lot. I'm not sleep on them, though. Definitely not sleeping on them. And I do think they got the coach of the year. I've been on record to saying this. I think they got the coach of the year as well. I just think that we'll see how well they play on the road. We'll see how well they play on the road coming up. Valkyries got they got the Mercury on. I don't know when they play the Mercury. They play the Mercury on the 14th, but I know they got another game before the 14th, so I'm not seeing their schedule quite clear here. Real quick, let me just double check it. Valkyries play No, that's not their next game. Okay, all right. So yeah, they'll play some real teams coming up. We'll see. We'll see how well they do. They play Minnesota on Saturday. Then they go to Atlanta. Then they got a stop in Indiana on NBA TV. Then they play the Aces and the Mercury and the Seattle Storm. So we'll see how well they play against these. All of these teams are going to the playoffs: Minnesota, Atlanta, Indiana, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. We'll see how many games they win. Then they get Seattle. We'll see how many games they win in their next 6 games. They got a tough 6-game road trip coming up. They get the Mercury at home. So we'll see how those 6 games go, Paul. We'll come back to that. Mel says he'll play the Wings on a money line here. He said, I know, but Wings money line. Okay. Chad got -5. Jason says Valkyries are getting back to Euro players too. We'll see how they adjust. If that's made, there are only so many minutes to go around. That's a fact. I mean, they cut Julie Van Loo as well. It's kind of crazy they cut Julie Van Loo, but yeah, they got a lot going on for sure. Dirty Rake says all the W teams have laid an egg or 2 this season. Have to give Golden State a pass. I mean, you got to give all the teams a pass. You got to get the Lynx a pass last night as well. No way they were supposed to lose last night to the Indiana Fever. Or were they supposed to lose last night to the Indiana Fever? And the books just didn't know what they were doing, man. I'm trying to tell you, this is not the NBA. Not the NBA. Any of these teams can win on any given night, man. We've seen this for a couple years now, for sure. All right, let's go to the last game on the board, which is the Mystics and the Lynx. I didn't even put a line here. I just got 12. So let's update this, see what this line is real quick. It is it still -12? It is -12. Total come all the way down to 156.5. This was a spot originally where I would have thought that the Mystics catching the points, which I think this did open up about 13.5, 14. Where originally I would have, been looking towards the Washington Mystics because, they got a major rest advantage in this game, right? And we'll start with the injury report because I don't want to miss that. Emily Inksler is not on the injury report. Silk Sutton is questionable. She is, the point guard for this Mystics team. Then you got Carly Samuelson. She's going to continue to be out for the Lynx. And Jade Melbourne, she had the injury against the Aces, I think it was, and she is back. she said that she is going to play tomorrow. So you got the Mystics. When we talk about variance in the WNBA, I think the Washington Mystics are exactly that, right? The Washington Mystics have won 3 games in a row. They beat the Aces. They beat, I think, one of them. I can't remember all of them, but they had won 3 games in a row against some pretty good teams. One of them was Dallas, and I can't remember who the other team was, but they had won 3 in a row. And even before that, they had gave the Dream a run for their money. Lost the game by possession. Probably should have even forced overtime if Slim doesn't miss the free throw at the end of regulation. And then they go into Dallas without Paige Beckers and lose the game outright. And this is what I mean, right? They haven't played since the 28th. The Dallas, the Washington Mystics haven't. They were laying, I think, 7 points in that game, 5.5, 7 points, something like that. Lost the game outright by, I think it was close to double digits. And now they also beat this Mystics team last time that they played, right? 68 to 64 at home. They were getting 8.5 points in DC back on the 24th, right? These teams have played 7 of their last 10 games under the total. And we've seen the total drop already 3 points. The Mystics will probably be fired up in this game, man. They'll probably be very fired up in this game. Anytime you lose by double digits, when you're laying double digits, it's typically a spot you want to bet on that team. And I do think the Mystics are, I don't know, man. I just can't get them right. Like, I said 20.5 was going to be too many points against the Connecticut Sun the other day. They win the game by like 40. I wasn't going to take the 20.5 with the Connecticut Sun, but I wasn't going to lay it because I thought that they were going to come out for the Commissioner's Cup and be playing well. Nah, they don't, man. They absolutely get smoked in that game. So I expect them to be locked in from the tip in this game. I think you could argue, a little rust versus rest, and that would favor the Mystics in this game as well because this Mystics team, that would favor the Lynx in this spot because the Mystics haven't played in quite a while. So maybe Mystics early in this game. Thinking that they got a really, really bad taste in their mouth. They don't have to travel to be the 3rd straight home game. I think they play one more home game in this spot before they go back out on the road as well. We know how good they can be offensively. We know how good they can be defensively. The numbers are all in front of you. This is, quote unquote, the best team in the WNBA. Statistically speaking, defensively, they only allow about 77 points per game. The Washington Mystics offense can be completely, just very Jekyll and Hyde. They can go out there and score, 7 points against the Dallas Wings, or they can go out there and give you 50, 60 in the first half like they did against the Las Vegas Aces. So I don't know what to do with this game. I wish I could tell you guys, because if I could, I would. I have no idea what to tell you to do with this game. The Mystics, if they win this, if the Lynx win this game by 20, wouldn't surprise me at all. If Aaliyah Edwards gets traded in the middle of the day tomorrow before this game starts, really wouldn't surprise me. They're actively shopping her as well. Now that they're 4-1, I think in the 5 games since Shakira Austin has been playing and moved to the starting lineup. So no play for me in this game. Like I said, I think if I had to play anything, I think the Mystics come out. Just given the complete letdown spot, I think they probably feel like they got a lot to prove to themselves and to their fans. Also, they lost to this Mystics team the last time that they played against them a couple weeks ago. And the Mystics could be a little rusty in this game to start the game off, being that they haven't played basketball in quite some time. Mystics have been off for quite a while. Matter of fact, let's just double check it real quick. See when the last time the Mystics played basketball. The Mystics haven't played since... They haven't played since the 28th, right? So what is that? 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So it'll be almost a full week, about 6 days off. I think that favors the Mystics early in this game. First half spread for the Mystics is... you can get, for the link, you can get a 6.5 minus 120 on Fanatics, or you can get a 7. Most books got it at 7, which is shaded because I think the books know. Makes sense to me to think that the books know. Let's see what you guys are thinking here, and then we'll get into a quick recap. Jesse got plus 14.5 for the Mystics. Ron says Mystics love the road dog spot, plus 12 and under. So thinking that I actually think this one could sneak up and over. Just because the totals are so low. But I do think I do think Minnesota going to play some defense. They didn't play too much yesterday. Algina says Edwards on the trading block for Washington. I mentioned that. Mark says he got the plus 12. So a lot of people liking the Mystics tomorrow. I can understand it. GLB says this had me looking at the over season this season. A team with more than 1 day rest as a home favorite, previously lost as a favorite. Let's just check real quick and see what this system brings up. So this season and what was it? And rest is greater than 0 and home favorite and previously lost as a favorite. 9-2 to the over. Yeah, I wouldn't bet under in this game. I don't think I'd bet under it either. I think when they get to 159, I typically want to go over. And I know how good the Minnesota Lynx offense can be. I also know that the real quick, I didn't mention this because I'm really just trying to not make the show any longer, but this Mystics team is not a great 3-point defense, and that's what the Lynx want to do, right? Real quick, and we just put some numbers to it. The Minnesota Lynx are shooting they're shooting the fourth most threes. They're making the fourth most threes over the full season. Third most threes last 5 games. Shooting the fifth most threes last 5 games and full season. And shooting the fourth best percentage at 34.5%. And the number 1 in 3-point percentage on the full season at 36.3%. And I know that the Washington Mystics 3-point defense has actually been a little bit better recently, but they can give it up. They give up a lot of attempts, 9th in opponent attempts. And I think with the way that the Mystics move the ball, the way that the Lynx move the basketball, it could present some problems for this Washington Mystics team. But we'll see what happens, man. We shall see what happens. I think they could heat up from the 3-point line in this game, though. Mystics offense also been really struggling. 10th in offensive rating over the last 5 games, 9th in points per game, averaging just 83 points per game. Yeah, we shall see, man. Jason says, I like over, though. I'm with you, Joby. Jason says Lynx may need to make a move. Bridget Carlton isn't giving them anything offensively or in peripheral stats. I feel like she hasn't been as good as she was last year. She hasn't had a game over 19 points, rebounds, and assists on the year. That's not good. Not good at all. And it's a 16-game sample. I like that. Yeah, I like that for sure. Okay. All right. So if we get into a quick recap, I think tomorrow it's a tough schedule, right? Because the way I think about it, there's not a lot of different rest advantages versus rest advantages. And the only thing that I play so far is the Aces on the money line, but that line is, like I said, long gone. So I think the Minnesota first half, if I had to make a play right now, as far as like a best bet, I would just lay the -7 in the first half. So first half -7 would be the way that I would bet that game tomorrow. I also think going back to the first game, right, the Sparks and I still think I'll take the Sparks plus the points. I would play LA and New York over the 169.5, even with that total coming back down. And if you missed any of this, the breakdowns for these are at the beginning of the show if you join late. And then I also kind of feel like the Dallas game goes up and over. I really do. I think both teams will be able to score the basketball. I think it was 165, maybe 165.5 is available. Yeah, 165 is available. 165 and a half is consensus though. And then I don't know. I kind of want to go over in this game too though. I think 156 is a little too low. 156 is a little too low in my opinion. The Mystics team total is 71 and a half. 71 and a half for 4 quarters of basketball. And the Lynx can't get to 84. I go over. The Atlanta and Seattle game, I'm not going to touch until I figure out if Ryan Howard's going to play or not. Yeah. I'll look through the player props. I really haven't had a chance to look through the player props as much. Even though we did cash a nice Angel Reese plus money played on Sunday. I'll look through the player props. If I add anything, I'll send it out to the members from a player prop perspective. But just that one official play for me. Like I said, I'm not even gonna put it on the screen because the line's long gone now. But these would be my recommendations as far as other sides and totals. Yeah, I think this is where these would be the things that I would play, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting. Of course, the sign up link for all my plays is in the description of the video. Check it out if you are interested, and check out the other resources as well. Jackson, Outlier, Money Baller, Odds Jam, all those links are in the description. And I will see you guys in the next one, man. Y'all have a good night. If you could do me a favor, help a brother out, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on so you do know when I go live. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Happy betting. Good luck on all your action. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.